Oh my goodness, that took forever. I know I said that a lot, but that really did take forever. Over an hour just to get that to finally drop a key. So I should probably mention when it comes to key collecting, gosh dang it, go into strikes. It's just so much easier than going through the playlists over and over and over again. It really does get quite obnoxious. Trying to just farm the battlegrounds and then hoping that a key drops from that activity. No, just go into strikes. It's so much better. But we got a red border prodigal return. Led from gold at Harmony. Honestly, not bad. Harmony can always be nice, although I would prefer to have something like auto-loading holster here so that I don't have to reload every single time I want to use the Harmony shot. So not really my absolute favorite because those two perks are a little bit counterintuitive. Like if I'm not always going to have a shot at the ready, then it really doesn't do me a whole lot of good to have Harmony at all when I literally need to be getting kills with another weapon to proc it. But I digress. Okay, so real quick, I want to go into past challenges real fast so you can see how many we've got done now. So we're up to, what is that, 5, getting close to 6, getting close to 7 with Favored Liberator. I just need to get more favors generated. I was using a rocket all that last battleground run, so I wasn't really getting any because it wants me to get heavy weapon kills, and I was really only using those on big guys. You get the gist of it. Well, we're going to get that one here soon enough, but we need a debriefing from Devram, so we're going to be heading back to the farm in the EDZ. I didn't even do my intro. What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king. Welcome you back to more Let's Play Destiny. Oh my goodness, yeah, that was a lot of time wasted. Just trying to get to that point so we could start today's episode and get on with part 2 of what is essentially week 2 of the season of Defiant. And I said before, this is a pretty short season. There's not really a whole lot much more that we're going to be showing as far as this season is concerned. Mostly just dialogue and whatnot. In fact, I think we're going to get to a point here where each week is actually going to just be one episode per. But let's go to the holo projector.
Hello, Guardian. Though I suppose I should hail you as a fellow Queen's Guard now. When Mara performed her ritual, she knighted all of us, with and without the light. You light-bearers are the only ones who can draw on her power, of course. But for the rest of us, like Ms. Holiday and Mr. Mithrax, it's nice to be included. Sir Devram K, Queen's Guard. Quite like the sound of that. I think when the Witness did whatever it did to the Traveler, it sought to destroy our hope at the source. That didn't happen. Humans and Elixni, officers and civilians, we banded together, stronger than before. That's what our enemies don't understand. When things are at their worst, that's when we are at our best. I'm looking forward to the battles ahead.
Well said, Devram. Queen's Guard, Queen Simp, same thing. I mean, we're all simps for Mara. She's, well, you know. All right, let's grab this Perpetualis, and then there we go. Visit the War Table in the Helm for a briefing with Mara Sov for the next step of the quest. We're going to be kind of bleeding into that a little bit in this episode. I am not going to keep that Perpetualis, although I am going to use it for infusion material for my Quicksilver. But we have a radio thing, and this is not how we're going to end the episode this time, don't you worry. But let's have a listen to this before we head off to the helm.
Devram, I had heard of you before our first meeting.
Oh? Good things, I hope.
There is much good, but you were feared as well.
If my reputation is for keeping the people of the EDZ safe, then I don't regret it. But I hope we can work alongside one another now.
We have one life, and our lives are not for us alone. Mine is for my daughter, and my house. Yours is for your partner and your people. We share much.
Outside the city, we can't always depend on the Guardians. And the Traveler has been somewhat inscrutable.
I once believed that the great machine had brought the light to Reese and to the Guardians because they were worthy of it. Then I questioned this understanding.
people protect one another and do what they must to ensure their safety. Now we can do so for each other, human and Elixni.
Yes. I do not know the great machine's will, but the light provides.
It does.
All right, you two. We'll just kind of leave you with that. Gosh dang it, man. I mean, they freaking blew up the soccer field, dude. Of course, it was the one part of the farm that was actually kind of cool, and where the hot tub was. And they just completely destroyed it. It's so freaking sad, man. That was the best part of the whole farm, but alas. So yeah, we're going to head off to the helm here soon to kind of get a little bit of a preview into what we're going to be doing in the next episode, but mainly because I want to go over the things there at the table, and we're going to get a briefing for what's going on nonetheless, but I do believe, don't quote me on this, I do believe we are not going to be getting access to an entirely new battlegrounds in this next set of missions, which is why it's going to be a little bit on the short side in comparison. All right. Welcome back to Orbital Command, everybody. Let's head on up to the table, and a couple things we're going to be doing here. So let's immediately start with the operation briefing.
Hail, Queen's Guard. I felt you reaching out. You shine as a beacon of ascendant power. Maintaining my connection is demanding, but by observing your astral wake, I am discovering ways through the ley lines that have never been charted before. As you move through the Ascendant Plane, you consecrate it on a paracausal level. Its borders fray and yield to your touch. The corruption within withers as you approach. For someone of your ability, one step through that darkness can equal 1,000 on this plane, 10,000, 10 million. A Shadow Legion prison ship drifts above us amidst the stars, far beyond our range. Or so they believe. Come to me and I shall open a path. Show them. Nothing is outside your reach.
Okay, I actually think I'm wrong. I didn't think we were going to get one so soon, but let's make sure here. Let's see. We stand unbroken. Oh, okay. No, we did get access to one, so we'll be doing that in the next episode. But I'm actually going to take this episode, the rest of this episode, as sort of an opportunity. First things first, I am going to spend, because I have 4 engrams, I'm going to spend them on one of these so I can get myself another red border here. Like I said, I'm going to go for the fusion rifle first and foremost. That's just the most important. But let's talk about some other things here. So first things first, recovered Leviathan weapons. There are 2 weapons that can drop from these, and yes, they can drop as red borders. These are weapons that could be gotten in the menagerie way back in Season of Opulence. The standard weapon is the shotgun, which is called Imperial Decree. It's an aggressive frame, and it's actually really, really good. So would definitely recommend chasing that. But depending on your class, the other weapon is going to be a sword. Now, for the Hunter, it is called Gold Tusk. For the... Oh, gosh, I actually don't remember the Warlock one. I know the Titan one is called Throne Cleaver. I cannot remember the Warlock one for some reason. Death's Razor. Okay, that's what it is. The reason I never remember that one is because it's the least unique of the 3. The Gold Tusk and Throne Cleaver are their own specific type of sword. Gold Tusk is like this little, like, almost ninja-esque sword where you swing it really, really quickly, but it doesn't have much of a lunge distance, while Throne Cleaver allows Titans to basically do this really powerful slam attack with it. And Death's Razor is just a standard adaptive frame, which, I mean, Warlocks honestly kind of got shafted in that department. But anyway, you can go after that as well. They're all right. I still think the shotgun is the better thing to go after. The problem is that it's completely random what you're going to get every time you pull from the engram, and even more so random that it's going to be a red border, so you can eventually get the craftable version of that sword. So, this is something I would recommend getting after you've finished collecting all of these weapons here, and then basically just spending all the rest of your engrams on these. You can spend your engrams on armor focusing to get better stats, better rolled stats on each of your armor pieces, but you can also do that with literally every other season's armor focusing ability, so I honestly, you really don't need to. I would say that is going to be the hardest thing to get the red borders for of anything in all of the seasons this year. So just, yeah, this is what we spend them on. If we have absolutely nothing left, of course, that's not really going to matter, because by the time this comes out, this season will be gone anyway. All right, we have a couple war table upgrades we're going to spend on. First things first. I think additional Defiant engrams is going to be a nice thing to have. And then let's see. Defiance Battleground increases the chance of earning additionals. Small chance to earn a Defiant key. I think I might want that one because just to get keys a little bit more often. Yes, I think I am going to go with that because I'm not going to be doing Legend difficulty anyway. So that'll probably be the last thing I go for. Cool. All right. So got some more upgrades from the war table. And we are good to go. We have another Defiant Battleground waiting on us. I want to end this episode by doing one last bit of explanation for anybody who's a little bit confused about what Mara's role is in all this and what's going on, because a lot of this is stuff that harkens back to Season of the Lost, a season we weren't able to experience in this Let's Play. I was only able to explain in a recap video a while back. Season of the Lost was a season all about saving the Techians who had been basically dragged into the Ascendant Plane. The Ascendant Plane is, we've talked about this plenty of times in Forsaken, we've talked about it in multiple different bits of activity since. This is part of, I mean, anytime we're in those Taken-esque spaces where it's basically negative space, that is the Ascendant Plane. Now, Season of the Lost was all about learning how to use ley lines. Ley lines are the ability of the Awoken to trace paths within the Ascendant Plane by using their very unique and special power. Mara and her Techians are the most adept at being able to do this. And as we gathered and rescued more Techians throughout the Season of the Lost, this ability was only strengthened. Mara's is kind of the foundation of this ability, while the Techians around her sort of enhance that ability. If you don't know what a Techian is, there's actually one here in the helm, or actually a couple here in the helm. This is one right here. Whenever you see them in these robes, you know that that is a Techian. They are priestesses of a sort. Shirochi, Kali from Last Wish, they are Techians. You get the gist of it. But to continue, the ley lines are... They are essentially pathways through the Ascendant Realm that are created through these powers. So Mara is able to literally make a path for us to follow through the use of the Ascendant Plane. As a very funny analogy, think of the negative space in Pokemon Platinum that Giratina exists in, okay? This is just kind of a reference for anybody who's a Pokemon fan. For being able to navigate a space like that, you need to be able to bring and control and pull it all together. So in Pokemon, for instance, all of the platforms would kind of come together. You'd be able to walk on them. Think of almost the same concept in Destiny, except for there is an outside force like Mara who is able to pull all of these pathways by using the debris in that space together for us to traverse across, because we do not have that power. That is why Mara is sitting in the farm with a big orb over her head, just kind of holding it there. You might be going, what the heck is she doing? That's literally it. She is using the power to trace the ley lines to then allow us to go through the Ascendant Plane to make the rescues that we want to make, because otherwise we would have no means of making it into the into the pyramid ships, excuse me, because they are completely sealed off to us. And this is going to become a recurring theme throughout all of the seasons here in Lightfall, finding ways to basically brute force the enemy's ways of blocking us off, as they have found more and more able to block our paracausal power. You're going to see this with the pyramid ships here in Defiant. You're going to see this with certain other races in Season of the Deep. You're going to see this with more so with the Hive in the Season of the Witch. And you're going to see us being able to find our own way to brute force these pathways in the final season, Season of the Wish. So this is why I wanted to explain all this to you guys, so you understand what's actually going on in the story, in the lore, and how any of this is working. It is incredibly important because, well, being able to forge a path is kind of a recurring theme here. As one, we've learned about the Veil and the fact that it is able to control while the Traveler gives power, and two, because, well, we need a path through that thing right there, whatever the Witness has created inside of the Traveler. That is kind of the whole point of Lightfall and the coming seasons, is that we need to find a way in. We need to forge our own path. And this is just one of the many, many necessary steps to getting to that point. But with all that said, guys, I will leave you with that. Thank you all so very much for watching. In the next episode, we will be jumping into the Defiant Battleground Orbital Prison, which I do believe is the last Defiant Battleground, although not the last mission in Season of Defiant. So with all that said, thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.